Somebody alerted me yesterday to the aloe vera that we thought was lost and had failed because there was some of it on the other side of this bougainvillea bush. And there's the aloe vera back again, healthy and growing, quite a lot of it. We have this marvelous line this morning: heaven and earth are full of your glory. And sometimes we don't see the aloe vera and its location and so many other things. So we have to open our eyes. We have to open our eyes. Do you notice the way the lake is this morning compared to yesterday, or contrasted to yesterday? Look, all the way across, it's just one sheet of glass. The smallest ripples. Just like our human emotions and passions, that they rise and change by all kinds of influences. One day so serene, and other days so perturbed. I have to learn how to follow these birds. They fly so fast. When the camera is zoomed in, then it's harder to stay with them. But I think we can learn how to do that. Look at that lake. It's still, it's calm. No waves, just little ripples. Heaven and earth are full of your glory. And there's so much we discover. We encounter people. Just walking through nature, all these flowers. Yesterday, when I was finishing one of the live streams, I just saw 3 or 4 other flowers that were so different that I hadn't spotted right away. Open our eyes to see what's around us and above us. And beneath our feet. We're walking surely on a lot of archaeology here. And we're looking forward to this new dig here at the Franciscans here in Magdala. What they'll find in the adjoining site. You can see they have just set up yesterday. They set up some shades for the heavy sun that burns down on the workers. So this is a little methodology that archaeologists use to have a little less drudgery, a little less exhaustion, to open our eyes to see what's going on. And Paul opens his eyes today in Athens. He's in Athens. One day I had to go to Rome for my retreat about 15 years ago. Nowadays we do the retreats here because we have sufficient group, but at that time there were only 3 of us working here. Now we have 10 priests and also the community of the consecrated and many volunteers and everybody else. And then the opportunity just to arrange the flight to go through Athens, it was even a little cheaper, and it had 9-hour stopover, so enough time to make it worthwhile to leave the airport and go into Athens, take a bus in. I remember still in the bus, it was impossible to communicate. These people were all speaking Greek. It was all Greek to me, and they didn't understand much more than Greek. One of the first big impressions along the road was when you were on the freeway going in from the airport, the sign for the exit was spelled EXODUS. Exodus. That was the name of the sign of the exit. That was written on the sign for the exit of the freeway, Exodus. And then I noticed a bridge that seemed familiar in terms of its design. And I said to the lady, Calatrava. And she was so enthusiastic, an elderly lady, that I recognized the bridge that they knew was Calatrava's Bridge in Athens. It was the first time I was there. But there's one here in Jerusalem, and they're in different cities. There are two of them in Dublin. So they have this unique feature, you know. To notice the things when we're meeting people, to notice what's in their eyes, what's in their face. Is it sadness? Is it a tear? Is it an opportunity of knowledge, curiosity, a desire to talk, the need for a word of encouragement? To notice the heavens and earth are full of your glory. To notice this. And Paul notices that in Athens, as he goes around in this very polytheistic place, he notices they have a statue for the unknown God. He notices. And he comments. So that's his entree to announce the good news that he's bringing. And Athens was a very important town. And not just back then, but even today. Maybe not the same political clout it had under Alexander the Great and other times. But the legacy we've had of the philosophers of Athens. In a certain sense, you could say Western culture, the culture in which we were raised and formed, that has shaped the world so much with great blessings, but maybe also limitations, like every human reality. What's going on here? I want to go there slowly because this is all catfish, I'm sure. And there's a whole bunch of them here. But if I go too quickly, I don't want to scare them off, so we can get closer to them. It's unusual that we get to see so many catfish together playing here. You remember the one day we had the Loch Ness monster? I'm pretty sure it was a huge catfish a few months ago. It was a very big animal in the water. We were seeing the top of its back. So these don't have a problem exposing themselves like this, apparently. They feel very comfortable. I don't know if they saw me now, they're just after scooting away. I wonder if they spread the word that there's danger on the shore. This is another batch that didn't discover me yet. There's a whole bunch of small ones here as well, near me. These are much smaller here. It's amazing, isn't it? I don't know if you'd like me to stay focused on the catfish. This looks like a little family of them there. The sun is rising. The heavens and the earth are full of your glory. To take time to contemplate and discover what's around us. And so Paul noticed this statue for the unknown God. And that gives him a segue into these very rational people. Oh yeah, I lost my thought and I'm back again. The question was, the issue is the influence of 3 cities in Western culture. So I left from Jerusalem in Notre Dame and got to the airport and flew to Athens. And then later that evening I landed in Rome. And I was thinking, wow, in those 3 cities, the mark they left on Western culture. Jerusalem in the area of faith, and Athens in the area of philosophy. Think of the influence of Aristotle, Plato, and so many others. Epicurus today is still a big influence. The culture of pleasure. The meaning of life is just pleasure. Aristotle looking for the great causes. Plato seeing the different dimensions of reality. The importance of thought, the impact of thought, of thinking, of spiritual life. And then Rome, probably one of its biggest legacies in our culture is law and rights that were developed and so forth. Structuring of law, systematic. Obviously the infrastructure of their empire, roads, communications that had were a huge blessing for Christianity, because the empire from here in the Middle East stretched across to all of Europe, North Africa, and it was a framework of communications, physical communications, travel, movement of people. So very much like our own world today. And there in Athens, then Paul is scoffed at because his story. It's interesting also just to look at this little text today from the point of view of the core story that Paul offers his audience. And the whole process like a vision of human history. And then the culmination of the revelation of this one who then died crucified for us and rose from the dead. And that proved too much for the rationalism of the Greeks, of the Athenians. And they said, we'll come back and talk about this another day. But some people actually did begin to follow. And from there, the impact of Greek thought and its wonderful rational development contributed immensely to the development of Christian thought and the penetration of culture with the message of the gospel. Maybe Paul felt rejected, but seeds were sown. It needed time to grow, to sow seeds of goodness, to be able to communicate the hope the gospel gives, that death doesn't have the final word, or hatred, or sin, or crime. And in all of this, we're not alone. There's a great company offered to us. And the advocate, the consoler, who will lead us into the fullness of truth. God bless you today. See you later, alligators.